Yep, that's right, I'm in here again, but this time that thermostat housing is getting replaced with an aluminum one. I saved all of the filming up until this point because everything up until this point has been covered in a previous video, which I will link right up here. When it comes to these timing chain tensioners, don't cheap out. Get the OEM Ford ones, Ford brand only. I made the mistake of buying a set from off-brand. I think they were Evergreen. Nope, they bound up and you could hear the tensioners slapping around back in there. So I was in there again 2 days later. Not worth it. Spend the money, get the OEM ones. These also need to be primed with oil before they're installed. So you submerge them up until past the hole, and then compress them until no more air comes out. Then you can install them. So that's what we're doing today. The driver's side timing chain tensioner is right next to the thermostat housing, so might as well do it while we're in there. And then once everything's wrapped up, it'll get all new coolant and all new oil and filter. So let's get started. So what I do is submerge it plunger side down and do a cup of oil. Make sure it comes up over that feeder hole, and by the time it's primed, you should barely be able to compress it at all. Like, this was from full stroke to almost nothing. Yeah, it's got maybe a millimeter or two of travel like that. So let that sit while we get the old one out. So on that tensioner, you'll need a 27mm deep well socket, and I've got it on a breaker bar. Just break it loose. And pull it right out. And then right on in with the new one. Except this one's primed very well, so getting it started is the hard part. Now it's snug, we'll just give it a little torque with my calibrated arm here. That seems like it. Click. Perfect. Now that that driver's side timing chain tensioner is done, I'm going to go ahead and put in the new aluminum thermostat housing, put the intake back in, get everything reconnected and buttoned up here, and I'll bring you back for the passenger side timing chain tensioner. We're going to get that through the passenger side wheel well. So what we're going after is right there, and it's kind of an awkward angle. You can't get on it quite straight because of the heat shield there and the fender well. So what I use is the 27mm deep socket with a U-joint and a long extension on the breaker bar. So if I can get up. Alright, I switched to a 1 1/16 socket. Hoping that'll be a little easier to control in there. The angle's not even that extreme. that was it breaking loose. Yeah, we got oil seeping now, so. Yeah, breaking it loose is the hard part. And there it is. One timing chain tensioner removed. Alright, I got the new one all primed up and ready to go in. It gets this little sealing washer, which you know, it was never on there before when I took them off, but I figured why not throw one on there now. Except they decided to bend that one up pretty good in shipping. I did my best to flatten it out. Slide that sealing washer on there. And yeah, I did check to make sure there's not one on the block. Now all it's left to do is torque it down, put the wheel back on, finish the oil change, put antifreeze in it, and then we'll start it up. Alright, so one thing to be aware of if you're putting in the aluminum ones, this hose right here, it doesn't seem to fit quite as well. Maybe the outlet is a little narrower on the aluminum versions, but I got the radiator full and it started just leaking profusely from the top of that hose there. So I had to take everything back off again and replace that, just to replace that hose clamp, and now it's fine. So just a word of caution, if you're in there, replace the hose clamp. With it comes with the clippy style on there. Put the screw on kind. They're better. So now I'm going to unplug the coil pack so we can turn it over until we have oil pressure, and then plug it in and go from there. Alright, it's got oil pressure now, so I'm going to plug the coils back in. So that's going to do it for this one. If you're looking for the aluminum thermostat housing, I'll put a link to that in the description. Just don't be like me. Make sure your hose clamps are good and tight before you put everything back together, so you don't waste a bunch of time and aggravation and put a bunch of antifreeze on the driveway. So now I'm going to move the wife's car, clean up around here a little bit, and then go for a drive. Hit that like button, subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I'll catch you next time.